Hello and welcome. We just arrived. I'll show you how it looks like from the outside. Very beautiful place. Lots of space for people to come together. And now, right here, set up is this console. To some of you knowing my channel, this might look familiar, as it is, yes. An ADT console, and it is a 5MT, so it's the same, and that's why I'm here. We are setting this up for a makeshift studio, as you can see. This is not a recording studio, and yes, there are people sleeping in this room from time to time, so we are going to have some fun with this, setting it up to show some of the possibilities of the desk, explaining the people here on site how to use it, how to set it up, how to connect it properly. And then this is going to be installed permanently at a later date in the studio that is right now being built here in Lithuania. Yes, that is where I am. They invited me to come over. Very happy to be here and very excited to see what we're going to make. I show you some of the process. This is going to be fun. We're going to make a makeshift studio with everything you might know from writing sessions, if you're familiar with that, setting up mattresses, doing some acoustics, and yeah, of course, connecting some stuff. Here we have cabling. You already saw the power supply, which is here, and then some spares as well. And yeah, I brought a little bit on my flight, which is mostly tools. Very happy that they did not take away my trusty deoxit that we need to clean contacts. As you might remember, contacts is an issue, but I already had a look at the board, and let me tell you, this is a later generation. So here we have a dynamics channel. And as you can see, these ones to the right are older ones. They look like the one in my desk. And here with the new ones, you have more gain reduction metering. And as you can see on the inside, now the strip on the bottom that was used for grounding is a copper strip, which makes sense. Very high quality to do the grounding of the channel with this. Also looks very nice. Otherwise it's pretty similar, but you don't have the old capacitors which tend to fail, which is super cool. Yeah, I remember these bad boys, the trim pods. Let's see how these equalizers here work. But I think, and as you can see here from the service, this desk should be fully functional. And also, if you look at the contacts, they're all nice and shiny, so I wouldn't expect any issues with soldering joints here. And what is really nice, you can see here the D channels. Yes, they are transformer balanced, which is super cool. Also saves the balancing amp that was on the input cards of my boards, which sometimes used to fail. I have spares with me, but like I said, not expecting this one to fail anywhere. And yeah, very excited to work with this one. It does have a 4-channel master bus, which you can hear, even though the channels themselves are stereo. But the metering here is 4-channel. And here we have a surround monitor. So maybe they used some of the stereo returns to send stuff out to 4-channel. I don't know. Probably done via the busing. But yeah, that's what we have for now. I'll keep you updated with this beautiful desk. I think it looks super cool. And I'm very excited to see how it works and hear how it sounds. Stay tuned. Okay, so here we are. And now we connected speakers. We powered up the desk. You can see it's working beautifully. Now, let's go and get a sound. And like with my board, we have a test oscillator that we are going to use. It comes up here on the patch bay. We assign it to the first channel, to the monitor return. Now we have to undo the off button, which is kind of reverse. And there you heard it already. Let me guide you through the whole process. We can now see the signal on the meter bridge. We assign the signal to the mix bus, which is our 4th channel. I pull that up and you can see I am getting signal on my mix bus and on the meters, which we have to assign here, right? So if I go to subs or something, I won't see it. Now I see it. For my monitors, I assigned the 4th channel as well. We connected it to mini, and if I press it, you can hear it. The desk works beautifully. Yeah, success. Now we already tested all of the channels. For next, we see if we can get music onto this to access some of the functions and see if we can record the first mix. Kind of, right? Okay, see ya. So it's Sunday today, and we all agreed on sleeping in, chilling a bit. I mean, I had a week of work behind me as well. And now in the afternoon, residents of the project will play a concert right here in the neighboring village. I will be watching, which is great for me. Some time off and also time to enjoy the beautiful landscape and the lake in this neighboring village. Check this out. And here we are back at the console. The weekend's over. We're starting work today with the desk. On our first very long day, we checked a lot of things. And as usual, I started to mark stuff that did not work properly on the function. So right now I will take my time to check it, see if I can fix anything. As you know, most of it is contacts, and especially with this one being in very nice condition, I will see if I can make it work. There is some parts where there might be chips not functioning, and I brought spares. So that's also an easy fix. There's also parts where I suspect a relay not functioning, and that I can check by just swapping parts. I have spare channels in here though that I will use as parts donors as well to check, and yeah, let's see what we can get back to working again on the spot. Very excited. And keep you updated. Okay, so we repaired quite a lot of functions on this console. You can see here with the returns I had some problems getting signal on both sides. These were mostly the switches here in the input section. And now if you you can still see, right? Sometimes the contacts are just in need of some use. And then similar things with the stereo channels. Some of these switches are very long, and here with the pre-switches, right, that switch the equalizer pre and post the insert. They are quite long, so they needed some cleaning and lubricant, but I have brought my trusty old friend, which they let me bring in the airplane. This is all working. Next, in terms of repair, I want to look at these channels. I have this solo here, not functioning, and the switch is working, so I might have a deeper look in here. Also, this channel has the mute not working, but as you can see, the solo does activate the mute. But also here the cut is broken, so I might get it out and see what's going on here. And then lastly, this one does not have this cut working, and it does not have this cut working. And also when you play, it does not really mute. So there might be something on with a chip inside, and I have a spare for that. But yeah, on a later date. I'm gonna do a workout now, and then there's lunchtime, so see you soon. Hello and welcome back to the console. We are continuing some of the fault finding after we finished the day yesterday with making setups for the new studio and diving into the inline functionality of the desk. Now you see this desk is fitted with a lot of the D channels that have very nice long faders. My channel has a lot of E. They only have these rotaries as small faders, and of course no compressor. These one, they are very accessible and very nice. So yeah, with this desk you can have a super simple recording setup where the channels are going directly to converters. You see, we checked out some of the busing functionalities that you can skip with the direct to send directly to designated output numbers and such. So very, very cool, very, very accessible, very easy to understand. Even, you know, if you're at first intimidated by the functionality of this, I mean, so many options and knob, and what does every knob really do. But if you dive in, you can actually find out that these kind of setups and consoles make for a very, very fast recording setup if you have everything connected, understand how it works with the routing. This can be super cool and easy, believe me or not. But yeah, back to the fault finding. This desk is in really, really good shape. There's just a few things that were not, you know, fixed with some presses. And this is what I'm going to work on today. Now you see here the mutes. You have some mutes not working, but the solo does. Well, on some others you have the mute working, but the solo is not working. And this is not contacts. Well, maybe it is. I'm going to find out and look for it, because this is normally switched by relay, and I don't know if you can hear it on camera. If I switch this mute, you can hear the relay clicking. Here you don't, you only hear the button clicking. So I already started yesterday to dig in and see where the relays are getting the power. All the other way around, these relays work in a way that they are pulled to ground, which can make sense with switches. So I'm going to see where it goes, where it ends up, and hopefully we will be able to fix a few things before lunch. Let's go. Okay, now this might look familiar. If you maybe know from my ADT build, that's how a console can look like when you work with the channels, especially as I do not have any extender cards. So I have to take out a few models more. Also, I'm using extra models to check the circuit, as I have no schematics. Typically for ADT, the only way of finding the faults here is to hold it against a light and follow the traces and see if you can make something out of it. Now, this one, as you can see, the mute was not working, and it took me quite, some time to figure out what. And in the end, I went to the circuit that switches all of the control voltages, meaning the volume, but also the mute. That is in the end just the control voltage going to the VCA, the voltage controlled amplifier. Also, you have the control voltage here on a pin for automation. And this control voltage is also amplified, even though it is not a signal, amplified and or buffered. And I switched these two after finding out which one the amplifiers were. And now it is working. Now let's see. I have at least one more module with a similar fault, and I hope that this will work there also. Let's see. So you see here the channel not working. It is reacting to solo though, so some parts are working. Now if we measure on the automation output, we see for a mute I should have 12 volts, but I only have 1. Okay, so here I am a while later. So what I figured earlier was there was some voltages missing. So the supply for these chips is an extra regulated supply here, and you can see this channel I modified because we're remote here and we do not have these as spares. So these were variable regulators, but I replaced them because I would need 12 volts and I would only have 3. So the regulator here was broken, and I took one regulator off one of the spare channels, but it was a basic 12 volts. So I modified this section here. It looks a bit rough, but it works very nice. I got it running. I am happy. I fixed the 2 channels now today. It is not a lot, but remember, no schematics, so I had to basically learn how this channel works, and it's a bit different from my D channel. That's why it took me so long, because I did not have this regulated one. So I never expected to be a fault there. But I'm happy we found it out in the end. I'm gonna clean up after. You can see quite the mess also here, my station, where I did the soldering with the tools they gave me. It worked out. Now it's dinner time and we clean up after. Yeah. Okay, so this is what it looks like now. The console will be moved out from this sleeping room to the music room in another building. This is also not the final destination as the Manor. It is being rebuilt still. This will move over to another house, which is not the final destination. And I will rebuild it there. Give it a setup with some speakers in a bigger room. Yeah, excited to hear how it sounds. Also, converters will be coming, so we might be able to pull up a full mix, record something. Tomorrow, the big day. Now, time to chill. Peace out. Okay, welcome back to the new studio. It will only be, like I said, for a couple of times. We're trying to make it nice. Now look where the console ended up. This is where it is now. We had people from the community help us get it, and then we took some time to configure the room. So we have a producer's desk for people that don't need the desk, as this one sadly does not really have a producer's bay in the middle. We can easily fit a laptop. But you'll always be able to move the speakers, right? If you really want to be in the sweet spot on the desk. Otherwise it will be here for recording and also mixing purposes. Now here there's still the parts for the console, and I see if and when I will find time even today to do it. Otherwise this will be more for tomorrow. We're making a listening setup now. Stay tuned. Okay, and good morning. Here we are back in the new room where the console will be set up until the final studio is finished, but here it will be usable. Today is the big day, and I start putting it back together after it was moved, putting on the wooden sides, putting in the module. I have everything set up here. Yeah. All the modules are in. Next step will be, of course, to screw them in, but more importantly, connect the desk to everything, to the power supply, and then to the new converters. Okay, so here we are, set up and running. We had a lot of fun cabling all of this. There's this very nice setup with a multi-phase USB, a Ferrofish A32 Pro, and then the desk came with custom cabling, which is awesome. That connects to the monitoring and recording connections this board has on the back. I never used it on mine because the cabling is quite custom, because on one connector you have 4 in, 4 outs, and classic would be 8 on one. So I don't know why they didn't do 8 in, 8 out, which would be more standard, but this desk has this cabling. You can see, super nice, all connected, and we already have a mix up on the console, and look at it go. Yeah, can you hear it? Welcome back to the desk. The setup is continuing. We have this nice stand for the patch bay, the patch cables. Now I am connecting some of the outboard, and I'm making a convenient setup that should be able for everyone to understand. Now, of course, I don't want to make it too easy and encourage people to use this beautiful piece of technology. I know a lot of people are afraid of it. We had one in university as well, and nobody liked it. They all were scared, but let me show you quick what I did. So yeah, this is the console setup, and of course, if you now put on our interface a signal on channel 1 and 2, it arrives on the console on channel 1 and 2. Of course, now if you just want to listen to music and not use the console, like bypass the console, I introduced a very nice routing where here in the middle of the console it has this mix and tape feature, where originally you could switch between your mix and a playback from tape, which could be some reference, the demo mix, or the repro head of the reproduction of the 2-track. I want to have it set up a similar way. So you're hearing the test tone, channel 1 and 2. Now, here we have some more channels that are not set up yet. I'm missing a few of these connectors, but this converter comes with a main out 1 and 2. So what I did was I routed the main out 1 and 2 on MADI 3132, which is the last of the 32 we have. On the Mac, if you go to the audio MIDI setup, you see the MADI face. And on that you can configure loudspeakers. You go to this 8-channel stream and choose MADI 3132. Super easy. Now if I am playing a file, it arrives on the main out and it is patched to the tape in, so I can listen to music, compare the mix on the board to demo mix, or if I'm just producing with the laptop here, turn on the tape, bypass the console, and yeah, that's it. And that's the end for now. My time here comes to an end. I will leave today. Let me give you an update what happened. So I was managed to get the meter working. Yes, it is getting a copy from the main meter, which is nice. So it gets the control room, which was very important for me to not have it display the mix always, but everything that I want to have displayed. I figured a cool setup where you can use the tape and mix functionality to change between playback from computer. I made a headphone setup with the routing that we have. And I'm very happy to let them have a working console, working beautifully. We fixed the last faults. All the solos are working now. All the mutes are working. You see we have one spare channel here, as one channel had a broken cut knob. So the people here will wait for a replacement and then they can put the channel back in, which is amazing. Now for me it is time to leave. It does not feel quite finished, but how can it be, as this will stand in another studio that's being built. Also for the guys here, Andreas, who manages the musical side of the project, I schooled him to use it, but it's only the beginning, so it's time for him now to learn on it, check it out, and time for the people here to use it as the speakers run through it. But I think this is so cool, just having this when working on new music, and also the surface. Amazing. Now, that's it for me and for this episode. If you liked the last couple of minutes, feel free to give me that all buttons in, or like and subscribe. Until next time.